Hey guys, it's me bringing you my Week 7 match of Tier 3 and Below League, Season 3 versus Purple Coffin Man. He is 3-3, fighting for a playoff spot. He can still make playoffs. Even if he loses this, he can, but it's really situational at that point. He has to lose like 1-0, and he has to win like 6-0 or something like that. It's like he really needs to win this. He really needs to win this ultimately. But yeah. So we're 6-0. We're obviously just trying to keep our playoff, not playoff streak, but we lost playoffs last week. But basically, we're just trying to keep our win streak alive. Looking to go undefeated. Hopefully, our last two matches could be tough though. Basically, week 8 is just 1v2, 3v4, 5v6, and 7v8. Basically, we're gonna face second seed. If we win this, we guarantee first seed. If we lose this, we still probably get first seed. We have to lose our last 2 weeks, and then Mythlo has to catch up. Or Zeus can too, I think. But at this point, we lock playoffs. I'm not worried about it as much. Like, I still prepped a lot for this match because I've been mad crap talking. And I'm trying to keep him out of playoffs, obviously. Because Coffin's one of the people I'm more scared of than, like, he's probably plays because there's like Mythlo, Zeus, and Jason were all really good battlers. But anyway, you can see the 6 he brought. I didn't expect Dracloak, Caparaja, and Brizion. I predicted Sneasel, Vaporeon, and Pink Urchin. Couldn't remember the last one. I thought Pink Urchin getting the Raichu speed with electric terrain. Raichu's a huge problem for my team. Made a lot more sense. Sneasel didn't really have a swap on my team, which is primarily why I brought Glistopod. And then Verzion, I felt like had a pretty poor matchup versus like Vaporeon. Vaporeon helped him out versus like Gardevoir, and Glistopod. Basically, you see the 6 I brought. I am physically defensive, Calm Mind, Mono Moonblast. I am Moonblast, which protect, Calm Mind, Gardevoir, with just enough speed for, I don't remember, but I am Lumberry, Pangoro, Lum Storage Dance. I am Taunt Roost, Noivern, First Impression, Sucker Punch, Aqua Jet, Blissipod. I'm pretty sure I'm max HP. I'm gonna really bulky approach this match, but I'm especially defensive Rotom, and then Payapa Berry, Garbodor. I didn't predict Caparaja here because I feel like I had a lot of stuff that hadn't dealt with it. I actually agree with the call. Looking back at it, just because Gardevoir is a bit hard for a team to manage, and Caparaja helps out with that. Caparaja could be annoying. I'm not sure what he wants to do with the Dracloak. Maybe Dragon Dance, but I'm not too concerned. Rotom could be really annoying for me to swap into. I have Gardevoir, but Gardevoir doesn't want to take in like multiple Volt Switches because he like basically he'll just bring in Caparaja, but with Protect, I'm gonna help out. It's gonna help out a lot actually. But Raichu's really bad for my team just because my team's naturally weak to it. I gotta make sure Rotom stays healthy. Verzion, I'm expecting probably. I'm not really sure on it. I feel like you don't like SD because like Noivern, but that's why I really didn't think you'd have it at all because Noivern kind of came in 100%. You're probably, I would imagine you're like physical. I guess you're probably physical in general. Maybe. Like, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know. For the Verzion, I'm expecting, I guess, some kind of SD set, but. And then, Slurpuff, I'm just expecting Belly Drum. Because I'm really weak to in the first place, so. which is partly why I have Garbodor, because I didn't really have a check that on. But yeah. So looking into this match, oh, I guess I could explain my sets really. Gardevoir, I just didn't need anything. Lom specifically for Rotom, because I knew he was gonna bring Rotom with Wisp, with enough speed for Pangoro. So I was not gonna let my Pangoro get Wisped. So I just brought Lom because CC did crap ton. Taunt, Roost, Noivern, beat Toxic Vaporeon. If it was Ice Beam, then obviously I couldn't, but which Ice Beam makes a ton of sense here, to be honest, with like Rotom, Noivern being my answers to Vaporeon. Ice Beam can do a decent chunk. Golisopod, the set was more specifically for Raichu. That's my biggest thing, because Raichu is a huge problem. I have First Impression plus Sucker Punch, because if he was Protect on Raichu, which he's shown to bring before, I can Sucker Punch it afterwards, and he might be inclined to stay in, thinking I don't have a way to hit it afterwards, and he can just get a Thunderbolt off. But it's not the case. Rotom specifically here for Raichu, and that's pretty much it. Lead preview. I didn't bring out Maka, but lead preview. I expected either Ferzion or the Slurpuff. I realized in the match that Webs could be a bit annoying. I don't remember whether that was Defog Rotom. I think I was. No, I probably wasn't actually. I was probably Wisp plus Pain Split. Leaf Storm Bolts, which I think was my set or something like that. But anyway, I think Garbodor getting up T-Spikes / Spikes immediately. I don't remember which one I was. I think I might have been both. But basically just getting Garbodor in immediately was really good for me. I was not forced out here. I just threw off a Toxic Spike. Yeah, it was Toxic Spikes. Because Toxic Spikes hits that, and then, like, he's forced to defog with Rotom. Basically, T-Spikes means Slurpuff can't really sweep me. And Drago coming in was odd, because I wasn't 100% sure what it wanted to do. I brought in Golisopod, though, and he went for sub. So, I brought in Golisopod because I had knockoff. So, like, if it was, like, Dragon Dance, then I was Bulky Pod. I was going to take Dragon Darts, and I'm Citrus, so even if he, like, double crit, I was still eating it up. And I could just knock into Sucker, which if knock didn't kill initially, then Sucker would. So I wasn't too worried about this. He pulls out the Sub Wisp. Sub Wisp is actually a bit annoying, though. Knock can easily break the sub, but basically my Wisp now burnt, which makes it a lot less useful here than otherwise would have been. But here I throw off another. No, I don't. Yeah, because I predict the Brazion coming in on the knockoff. So I double out of my Noivern here, and he feels a Choice Band. I don't remember whether I don't think I noticed that actually. I think I did. There's no way I missed that. Here, I know he's gonna go into the Gapparaja, but I still throw off a Hurricane just to gauge damage. Because I really wanted to know what the Gapparaja was, whether it was like Assault Vest, whether it was leftovers, or like Chople. I was kind of expecting Chople with like Play Rough. That would make a ton of sense to catch the Pangoro, because Pangoro's a problem for his team. SD can kind of win this game, which is why I'm Lum, because obviously then Rotom can't burn me, and then I just CC and kill it. But the Noivern missing there is a bit annoying, more than, like, it's not huge as in the sense that, like, I was going to do a ton, but it would just let me gauge damage on figure out a set more. I go to my Rotom because I realized my swap into Gapparaja is kind of limited, especially because my Glissobot's burnt. He just started with an Iron Head. 19, I think that reveals that he's no attack. I think that's what that revealed. I don't recall 100%. But and since he was Iron Head, I didn't think he really had coverage for Rotom. The only coverage would have been Heat Crash, which Heavy Metal with Heavy Slam and Heat Crash would have been better than. And so since he revealed Iron Head, I knew it was Sheer Force. So that meant Rotom kind of beat this Gapparaja. Here I just think I throw off a Wisp. Yeah, I thought I'd throw off a Wisp because if he chose to stay in Gapparaja, I was gonna say just take the Wisp. The only other he had, like, I don't know. I was just like it was just covering the option because I had no reason to predict there. Rotom, like, though Rotom is annoying, I have Gardevoir still at 100%, and it's bulky, so it's gonna take it up pretty well. But even like Noivern can pivot in alright. But here I just I think I hard swap. Yeah, I hard swap into Noivern on the overheat. He opts to defog. Defog was a smart play because it means this is half his team doesn't get T-Spike now. I guess 2/3, but here I just throw off a Dragon Pulse to gauge damage. Again, it was pretty much 100% safe. I had no reason to predict. He throws up Volt Switch, reveals that I am bulky, but that reveals he's bulky as well. So that damage is really important though for Pangoro later, for like CC and stuff, or even knock. But Noivern's at 72 is whatever. I don't care. He brings out the Copperajah, pretty expected. Here I think I just go. No, I don't go. I go my Gliscod here on the play rough. He wanted to catch the Rotom coming in, and yeah, he wanted to catch Rotom coming in, I think. Or play over. No, I had my Dragon type in. I guess he wanted to. But play over just covered everything, I guess, more so than Ironhead did. Like, yeah. So then I bring my Gliscod in because I didn't want Rotom to come in and he predict it and go like Rotom and then get Volt Switch initiative and put me into like a hole because now T-Spikes aren't up. Therefore, he's not forcing the Copperajah anymore. So basically, once I went my Rotom, he doubled out to his Rotom Heat. He could just Volt Switch on my either Noivern or Gardevoir. And if Gardevoir came in, then he could either go Dracloak or Copperajah, more so Copperajah. If Noivern came in, then it gave him Puff. So I was really worried about that. So, because Puff is a bit annoying. Oh no, I was predicting Calm Mind. Yeah, I predicted Calm Mind, Degleam, Flame, Psychic. That's what I predicted. Which by the way, I literally said this later in the match, that I know you're set, but, and he confirmed that that was the set because that was like his best set. Calm Mind was actually really problematic for me, but my way of beating it was like bullet punching, sacking Pangoro, and having the Payapa Berry, which is why it was that set. I remember now. But anyway, he played Reps on the Regardless bot. I think I just throw off a knockoff here. I do. I throw off a knockoff onto the Rotom. Getting rid of the Boost doesn't really matter because I don't have rocks, but here I just... No, here I throw off an Aqua Jet because at this point my Gliscod is burnt. It's kind of useless. I get the Scissors back, which is cool, and it just weakens the Rotom in range of CZ now 100%. So even Gliscod at this range, it's still... Yeah. Even Gliscod at this range, at 30%, it's still okay, because you can still first impression the Raichu, and like 70-80% off, which is still really good, by the way. But here, I opted on my Garbodor, because, basically, Garbodor gave me, T-Spikes again, which I really... No, I think I throw off a Spike, actually. Don't I throw off a Spike? Yeah, I throw off a Spike here, because Spike actually pressured Copperajah, so I could figure out its item. And T-Spikes at that point, like, basically Copperajah was just tired. I didn't want to allow Copperajah for free, like a Copperajah into Rotom Defog. So Spike actually did something to Copperajah versus T-Spike, which didn't. He still defogs. I'm fine with defog because I have more hazards than he does defogs. So, which is why I did this play at all. Wisp does eventually beat me though, so I'm just throwing off hazards at this point. I have no reason not to. Eventually, I figure he's gonna swap, and he does. So he just basically swaps when a T-Spike is not up, because T-Spikes are a bit more problematic. Yeah, T-Spikes are more problematic than regular Spike. Basically, now I have a T-Spike plus a Spike up, which means even though Copperajah can come in and not take the T-Spike, it's still taking a Spike, which reveals whether he's lefties or something. Obviously I'm at 25, but I still just go hard Noivern because I don't predict him to sub there. I expect him just to throw off a Hex to kill Garbodor, or I guess Dragon Pulse too. But he actually opts to sub. That's really bad because I'm not Infiltrator. I'm actually Frisk. which means here I actually have to swap again into my Gardevoir because I know I'm going to take everything at this point. Like, I figure he's going to go for his Dragon move, which he reveals disabled there, which I don't really get 100%. I think throwing off a Wisp was probably your better play. Because Noir's not burnt yet, therefore you can just throw off a Wisp relatively freely. But he really disabled there, which is really good for me because that means that my Gardevoir is not burnt, and therefore Hex is not doing anything. Which I knew Hex was his last move, but here I just throw off a Calm Mind because once I start Calm Minding, basically it forces in Copperajah, which I was, kind of tired of Copperajah coming in for free and not taking and just being at a simply 100%. I didn't want Copperajah coming in anymore. Therefore, Calm Mind forces him to bring in Copperajah, and he either disabled the Calm Mind there, which I read, and Moonblast, which was like there was no reason to keep on Calm Minding though. So here's throw off another Moonblast. He chooses a Wisp. I'm fine with this trade because now Dracula's gone. No more Sub Wisp, Disable Hex shenanigans. More Sub Wisp, but Gardevoir's at +1. This basically forces in Copperajah. You don't really have enough to play here. You take the Spike, which is good. I go my hard Gardevoir because there's no reason to go anything else. He takes the Aftermath, which is really cool. He takes 25%. And this reveals that he's not Leftovers, which basically confirms that he's Chople Berry. I don't see what else you could be at this point. But basically, I go into my Rotom because I know he's Chople Berry, and I know CC does not kill him at that range. Am I CC or Drain? I think I'm Drain Punch, which is why I was so focused on getting Rotom low. I think I'm Drain Punch and not CC, but which does come into play. But basically, now that Copperajah is in, I am forced into Rotom, and I think here I throw off a Volt Switch. I do, because I was not going to allow in Rotom freely anymore, because I was tired of that mon. Here I go Noivern. I took a time on this play, because I was trying to decide between just letting a Pangoro take the burn and bust the Lumberry at that point, but I realized there was no reason for it because Drain was not killing at that range anyway. I'm pretty sure I'm Drain now, but Drain wasn't killing at that range. And basically, Noivern, I just kind of throw off a Dragon Pulse for free. I expected him to defog away these as in spikes and T-spikes. So I taunt and he opts a Volt Switch, which means my Noivern's at 70, which is still relatively healthy. Like, that's not too big. And like his way of defogging is he has to defog on Rotom. He can also defog on like Golisopod. He can defog relatively freely still, which is annoying because I'm on a Moonblast. So he can defog really freely still. The only things he can't defog on are these two. But he opts to bring in Slurpuff, which here I take my time on this play too. I think I go Gardevoir, but basically I'm really worried about him Calm Minding. No, he was Energy Ball. He wasn't Flame. Yeah, I remember talking about that afterwards. Cause I said this is where I say it here. I say I know you're Calm Mind, D-Gleam, Flame, Psychic. He says close, but no Cigar. What? Maybe he meant Psychic. Maybe he wasn't Psychic. Maybe he was, but then he just Garbodor. I guess Flame is enough, but basically I roost because I calced and I guarantee lived D-Gleam at full, and I was more so expecting him to Calm Mind first, but I didn't want. So maybe I think Roost was a misplay, but because basically this covered Calm Mind and D-Gleam, which I was more worried about Calm Mind. But if I taunted and he opted D-Gleam, I died. Therefore, I was not into that. But if he Calm Minded and I roosted, it was still fine because I had a Noivern at 100% now. So, yeah. So I opted to roost. I think he just dropped the D-Gleam. He does, and it does. He crits me into 82, which the crit's really bad because it means I can't pivot in on Rotom anymore. And like, I don't know, it's just really problematic. Because otherwise I would have done like roughly like 55-ish, which isn't too much. Like, I would still be at like roughly 30% more, which means I would actually live another one if I wanted to roost it off. But at this point, I can't roost it off as much as I want to. I taunt here, and you have to start off another Deagling, which means my Noivern is dead. Which, that's really bad, because Noivern was my best way of dealing with, like, Rotom, plus Virizion. Even, like, Raichu, to an extent, but, so losing Noivern there, because I really predicted him to Calm Mind there, but really, did he have a reason to? Like, I expected more so the Calm Mind, because I felt like, I don't know, just throwing off Deagling is probably his best play, but I thought at the time Calm Minding was better, which I probably still would have Calm Minded, but basically now Gardevoir beats this Calm Minding. I think I would start off a Calm Mind, or do I start off a Wish? I do just Calm Mind immediately. I Calm Mind immediately because I didn't want him Calm Minding trying to beat me, but he goes hard Caparasha, which I agree with. So basically now I have to swap something into the Caparasha. I just throw off a Protect here because I wanted to see what he was trying to go for. He does try to go for the Iron Head. Basically now I just go hard into Rotom. Yeah, I just go hard Rotom. He does just throw off another Iron Head. Here I just Volt Switch. So the reason why I'm so like hesitant to Volt Switch on the Caparasha is because if I Volt Switch, I have to sack. And he stays in, obviously. I have to sack because Golisopod's at 30 and burnt. So even if he clicks Iron Head there, then it's like basically Golisopod's dead because I'm not CC on this mon. But at this point, he's gone with the Rotom Caparasha trade. He's gone Rotom like 3 or 4 times. So I'm just choosing to Volt Switch every time now, and this is still I'm not in that great of a position. If he ever can get a defog off though, it's really good for him. But here, I think I go Pangoro. So, I go Pangoro because my only other option was to sack Golisopod to get Aqua Jet damage off for Pangoro, but basically looking at it, then I didn't want to just sack Golisopod like that. So, like, this match I had to actually like think, and that was annoying because he's 3-3. I'm undefeated, 6-0. Like, I should be kind of bodying him, but it's not. It's my closest match all season, and I'm actually losing. But anyway, he's gonna Wisp here 100%. But no, he didn't actually. And I was CC. So I was CC. I just knew how much it did at the time. I didn't remember how much now it did, but not break. Oh, he predicted Mold Breaker with Earthquake for the Rotom, but he decided that he wanted to defog away the hazards, which I agree with, because now my setter's gone. Basically, now hazards 100% gone, and I just get to throw off the CC. Here, I think he. If I were, I would have Wisped too, because he didn't have Overheat. He had Bane Split. Here he decides. EQ. Yeah. He decides to Wisp, and I obviously have the Lumberry, which is why I was not scared. I throw off a knockoff just in case he opted to swap into like Raichu on the CZ. It'd be a wild play, but just in case he opted to. Here, I think he goes Virizion. No, he goes Slurpuff. Slurpuff forces me into Gardevoir, which is perfectly fine. Like, at this point, Gardevoir kind of walls this thing. I think do I throw a Moonblast or Wish? I throw off a Wish because I'm getting a bit low. And he's seen my full set now. So maybe I could have wished into Golisopod. That might have been the better play. But I wished into Rotom because I didn't want him play roughing and killing the Rotom. So, not Rotom. I didn't want him killing the Golisopod. But basically, Rotom's back at 100% now. And here I can just throw off. I throw off a wisp now because wisp is basically 100% free now. Your only options are to either stay in or go Slurpuff. Slurpuff's not a problem because I still have Gardevoir healthy. Either to stay in, which means that gets burnt. It's not a problem. Virizion, Virizion would be the biggest thing, but since you're poisoned, it's not the biggest problem. And you either have to like CC or Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade predicting the Gardevoir, or Leaf Blade, or CC predicting me stay in, predicting the Leaf Blade. So, or just clean CC because it was your safest play. But, or obviously Raichu. Raichu didn't make any sense though, so I just went for Wisdom, my best play. I basically now just get a free into Gardevoir. He can double here, he doesn't opt to, which gives me a lot of initiative because I can just Wish Protect onto Caparajah now. Basically get my Gardevoir back to 100%. So, I Protect here, by the way. I don't see... So, I can understand why you double there, but I still feel like my 100% play would get Gardevoir back healthy. Therefore, I don't agree with the in hindsight, but obviously, it's basically protect everything. I got the recovery back and I scouted the double. I'm more so getting the recovery back. I wasn't predicting him to double. I thought he'd just click Iron Head. But now Gardevoir's back at 100%, and I just gotta I predict there just to scout whether he's going for Leaf Blade or CC. Obviously, he just swapped back to Caparajah, which was his best play, but still, it's perfectly fine. My Rotom's still healthy enough. Basically, the Play Road does not do anything to it, and here I can just Wisp freely, because again, Wisp is 100% my play. I know he's swapping, but Wisp is just all around my safest play. Because if I full switch and he stays in, it's actually really problematic because I have to sack my Golisopod, and I want some kind of sack versus either A to sack versus Virizion, or B, I want to wait getting damage off onto the Raichu, because otherwise it could be a bit annoying, because Raichu can still win this game for him. I think if he weakens Gardevoir, and then he has like Focus Blast, and then obviously T-Bolt, but I don't know, I think he still has a chance at this point. I think, I don't know, this is a long match, but here I make an arguable misplay because I opt to stay in and quick Volt Switch. Because I knew I would guarantee live the CC there. My the problem now is my Caparajah swap has to be either A, I sack Rotom, or B, I sack Golisopod. Golisopod's my best way of damaging Raichu, and Rotom's my best way of defensively answering Raichu. So at this point, Raichu proves to be really problematic because Gardevoir is no special attack. Therefore, Moonblast actually does not do too much to it. So Gardevoir it makes Raichu more problematic because I am Leaf Storm on this thing. But I will switch out. I can obviously go my Gardevoir. Here I just get to throw off a free Moonblast. It's 100% free. It just gets 8% off onto the Caparajah. Caparajah is not that big of a problem still, but I had to either swap in Caparajah or not Caparajah, Golisopod or Rotom, and here I just throw off a knockoff because I think I should throw off a knockoff. Yeah, I throw off a knockoff because if he wanted to go Virizion to get justified, it was perfectly fine. It wasn't a problem. I would just Sucker Punch afterwards, and I think you die to knock plus Sucker plus 2 turns of poison. So, and if you also go Slurpuff, it's perfectly fine as well. I keep a Golisopod as a sack versus Virizion, so I don't have to come down to a 50-50. He has the Energy Balls there, which, yeah, he had Flame. He just didn't have Psychic, like I said earlier. I think that's what I said. I thought he would have Psychic, but he didn't. So, obviously, the Payapa Berry wasn't as useful. Still would have helped versus, like, Raichu. But, Gardevoir comes in. I just get to throw off a free Wish. Crit doesn't really matter, but I'm not concerned about the crit. You're forced into... I think you were forced into Caparajah here. 100%. Because Caparajah forced a sack. Well, I guess this forced a sack, too. But basically, now you take another turn of poison. I lived the Leaf Blade afterwards if I wanted to, but honestly, sacking Lisbon was 100% my play. At 9%, you're in range of BP from Pangoro. You go your Raichu. I assume you have Focus Blast on this thing, so I keep this mod. I sack Rotom. He drew with a T-Bolt, which means he probably isn't Focus Blast. But here, I should go back to Pangoro, expecting, obviously, you not having Focus Blast. Here's Knock, obviously kills that. And he was a Soul Vest on this thing, which I think I probably figured out in the match. I just forgot it now. And then, obviously, since you weren't Focus Blast, Raichu, I obviously guarantee lived the T-Bolt. Even with a crit, I probably lived. And I just killed a knockoff. That was... it was a long game. And Pangoro... So everyone's game plan at this point was to keep Pangoro from getting kills and not letting it get number 1 kill leader. But every week I got like 3+ kills. I think I get like every single week so far, it's gotten like 3 kills at minimum. I think one week got 1, but like other ones like this match, I got 4. One match it got like another match, it got like 4. It's just getting a lot of kills. I think we're gonna ban it next season, but I mean for a fair reason. At this point, we go 7-0. This was a really good match, by the way. It was a long one, and this took like, I think it was like a 45-minute match. Like 30, 45 minutes. It was really long. Just because I had to think a lot. I think had he had Vaporeon instead of Dracloak, it would have been a lot more problematic. I don't even think you needed Toxic per se. Toxic would have helped a lot, but like having Ice Beam for Noivern and Rotom, neither one of them appreciated Ice Beam. But since I was a bit Spadef into Rotom, Rotom would have taken it relatively well, but the others appreciated it. And then, like, that's probably the only trade that you really needed to make of that. Because, like, what was the other mod that he had that he didn't bring that I predicted? I don't remember, but it was over Virizionic Operation. I don't remember what the mods were. And one was the electric Pinkerton. Pinkerton, I guess I agree with not bringing Pinkerton. You don't really need the speed with Raichu. The only thing you need it for is like A, Scarfers, and B, Noivern. And otherwise, like, Glizopod's still gonna first impression you. So, the only other option is Protect, and then I just Sucker Punch you afterwards, which is why I had Sucker Punch, by the way, or Protect Raichu. But, anyway, we moved to 7-0. This confirms our first seed. This also doesn't confirm Coffin out of playoffs. I think it does, actually. I think it did confirm Coffin out of playoffs. No. Yes, it did confirm. No. I think he had to win like 6-0. And then Amp had to lose. Eventually, then Coffin would pass Amp. And yeah, something like that. I think he was guaranteed out. Because I remember, I think it was like someone at like 12 diff. And no, I think someone had 6 and Amp had -6. So basically, even if he won 6-0 and it was Zeus, I think. Even if Zeus lost 6, no, I think it was Jason lost 6-0. Zeus in the match versus Jason and Amp, Jason won the 1v1. So Jason would still make playoffs even if he tied differential and record with Amp. So I think Coffin was -2 differential. So anyway. So, yeah, we pulled through. We lock our first seed. We only have one more match versus Mythlo. It's funny because me and Mythlo could play 3 times this season. Once regular season, once for final week, 1v2, and then could play again in finals. But, hey, I mean, that wouldn't be too bad, really. Yeah, so you can see the match. Hopefully we'll pull out a W next week, keep our regular season undefeated streak, and hopefully this time we won't lose in semis to Coffin. Well, actually, we can't lose to Crawford in particular, but we can lose to Jason or Zeus. I think Zeus. It's just whoever loses, Zeus versus Jason basically faces me round one. So just whatever happens, there happens, and yeah. So that was a long match, but it was a good one. Definitely, it was one to remember. Yeah, and I will see you guys with our week 8 match versus Midlow.